Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you, and today I have my first impressions on my Olamic Cutlery Swish. This is a new knife for this year, and of course this one is unique to me. I'll talk about that, and then we'll go into sort of just the overall general features of the knife, and then give you a size and weight and show you what it ships with and all that stuff that we normally do. So I've been interested in this knife for some time. When I first saw this model announced, sometime last year, I was pretty impressed by it and have been sort of anticipating this. So when Eugene announced that if you wanted one, you should get in touch with him. He could have one ready before Blade Show. I quickly sent him a message and we started talking about what exactly I wanted. We went back and forth over a few things. I knew I wanted bronze. I do like a bronze finish on titanium. I just find it looks very, I don't know, it looks very user-friendly. It looks really cool. But I wanted to do something a little different, so I said, what about flame anodizing it? And he said, what do you mean? Ultimately, I sent him a picture of a Curtis knife, and I'm sure you've seen some Curtis knives with a flame ano on it similar to this one. I said, yeah, let's do something like this. And he said, yeah, we can figure that out. So this is what I ended up with. Now, there were some follow-up questions. What do you want to do with the hardware? Ultimately, I said, leave the hardware satin because I think it ties the knife together and matches the blade really well. In terms of the clip, that was another question that Eugene asked me. What do you want to do with the clip? And I said, I don't know. Ultimately, I said, just do what you think looks cool and kind of surprise me. And so this is how it ended up. And it's really, really cool the way it sort of blends in with the rest of the handle. Really, really like the way it turned out. So that's the stuff that's uniquely mine. By the way, when Eugene sent this to me, he did indicate that it was a one-off. So there are no other Olamic Swish knives out there like this, and that's a pretty cool feeling, I've got to say. Now, let's get into the actual just standard features that you'll be getting if you order one of these, starting off with the blade, which is a high flat grind, sort of a modified drop point. Almost a modified Wharncliffe. There's a bit of a transition here. If I rub my thumb over it, you can feel that it kind of clips down. So maybe a modified Wharncliffe more so than a modified drop point. Nice big fuller here, and that serves a couple of cool purposes. One, I mean, there's the aesthetic feature that really does tie in with the theme of the Swish, but it also works really nicely for a thumb or even flipper deployment. So that's a pretty nice feature. And one of the things that really, really stands out to me about this knife is that blade. Now, moving down to the handle and the action and all that, of course, we do have the proprietary pivot, which is not the best thing in the world. A lot of people really don't like it. I don't mind that much because having had an Olamic before, I know that the tool that they ship with actually works really, really well. You can see the lock bar insert there. By the way, this knife does have, let's see if I can show it to you, maybe from this angle here. You can kind of see it there. Come on, focus. There we go. You can kind of see there that this knife does have a ramp for the detent ball, which is a really nice touch. It makes the action really, really smooth. And I've got to say, having had a 24/7, the action on this is actually nicer than the 24/7, which is pretty impressive because the action on the 24/7 was very good as well. So I'll ask Eugene before the full review what's going on with the bearing pivot. Is it ceramic bearings? Is it single, double row, whatever? I'll find that out by the time we do the full review. It does look to be a ceramic detent ball, so that's always really nice. And since we're talking about sort of action and how the knife opens and closes, you can see that it is an internal stop pin. So see the stop pin moving there. Hold on. Focus, Hugh. So see as I'm moving the blade there, you can see right there is the stop pin riding inside of those titanium scales. So that's how that's working for you. Back here we have a floating backspacer, which is really, really cool. What a neat feature on a knife. I mean, it's not practical, I understand that. It's not that much different really than standoffs, but I do really, really appreciate it. Notice the clip here is attached to the frame internally, which does make for a really, really clean look. I really like when companies do that. It just kind of makes this very clean, finished, gives the knife this clean, finished feel to it. Since we're looking at it, there's one little rub mark right here. You can see that. Not the end of the world, but it's a little disappointing, but no big deal ultimately. Still totally in love with this knife. Now, let's see. I think we've covered all of the features. Lanyard hole is, again, nicely implemented in the design. And I think that's pretty well all the features that I wanted to talk about. Let's go ahead quickly and show you what this ships with, and then we'll get a size and weight and my overall impression. So you do get this Olamic Tactical case. These are pretty standard fare. Inside you have the certificate of authenticity with sort of the specs on your knife and the date of production, as well as the serial number, which is 66. Oh yeah, I forgot to show, forgot to show you that on the knife itself. Let's see, if you look in here, you can see, hold on, I'm holding it upside down. There you go, you can see Swish and you can see S06, hold on. Swish and S066 in there. Sorry about that delay, but I wanted to give the camera time to focus so you could see that. It does ship with the foam, which is again fairly standard if you've had anything else from Olamic. And inside there is the adjustment tool. So that's how it ships. Very much appreciated. And now let's go ahead and get a quick size and weight on this before I kind of give you my final thought, or my initial thoughts about the knife. So overall size is going to be 8 5/8 overall. Let's see if I can get that all in camera there. There we go. So 8 5/8 overall. Blade length on this guy is, I mean, just under 3 3/4. And that's like just under. You can almost see that it's, you know, maybe not even a 1/16 of an inch under. And the handle length here is 4 7/8, or again, just under 4 7/8. Finally, we'll switch that out for the scale, and we'll grab you guys a weight. All right, so yeah, just in ounces. There you go, 4.7 ounces overall, which is a very, very comfortable carry weight. By the way, I guess we didn't mention, when we're talking about carrying a knife, we didn't mention the ceramic detent ball, which does make it really, really comfortable going in and out of pocket. So there you go. Now, what is my overall impression on this knife? What do I think about it? Where do I see this sort of fitting in? Who would maybe be interested in something like this? Well, obviously this is a higher end knife, certainly a mid-tech. And one of the advantages of going with a mid-tech is something like this finish, where I can get to talk to the maker and specify some things that I specifically want in my knife. So that's pretty cool. I do think this is a really, really well done knife. There are a lot of cool options out there, and I think this knife is going to do fairly well for Olamic. The size and weight on this is really, really nice. It's a really sort of middle of the road knife. You guys know I like the larger knives, so that 3 3/4 inch blade length really, really appeals to me. I do feel like I've got a little extra room for my hand here than I did on the 24/7. It is comfortable in lots of different grips, and I really love that as well. So I think we have a really, really nice, very versatile knife here. Certainly EDC absolutely fits that role really well. Hard use, probably harder than your average knife. I wouldn't take this and start batoning with it or something like that. It's folding knives are not intended for that, but certainly this is a knife that's going to wear really, really well, and you know, I would have no doubt that I can hand this down to my kids at some point and they'll still have a very good knife. So it's going to be long lasting. Could this flex into sort of a defensive role, a tactical, since it says Olamic Tactical? Could this be a tactical blade? Sure, I think so. I've said before that, you know, I'm not crazy about, especially if you're not trained, thinking about using a knife as a weapon is probably not the best bet, but sure, it could definitely fill that role. I mean, any sharpened piece of steel can be a pretty effective weapon. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss the full review coming up in a little while, and we will talk to you soon.